We are live with Motorsports Race Talk here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch for the very first time. As you know, yesterday, the motorsports world lost an icon. Bob Jenkins passed away at the age of 73 from brain cancer. Tonight's episode will be dedicated to the memory of Bob Jenkins. Please enjoy this tribute video to the great Bob Jenkins.
We all know the famous call.
Coming to the finish line, Bob Jenkins, who's going to win it?
We've heard it countless times.
The checkered flag is out. Goodyear makes a move. Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second.
Bob Jenkins helped create history that day on May 24th, 1992. Making that type of goosebump-inducing call came after years and years of working in the motorsport industry and perfecting his broadcasting craft.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins.
Bob was born in 1947 and grew up in Liberty, Indiana, and attended Indiana University. As a true Hoosier, Bob fell in love with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as a kid.
I was 12 years old. It was one of those days in which I did indeed fall in love with and have never been able to kick whatever bit me that day.
Bob's first TV appearance was for NBC, covering the inaugural kart race in March of 1979. That same year, he started with both ESPN and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network when he called his first Indy 500.
Bob Jenkins, welcome to the Speedway Network.
Thank you, Paul. A pleasure to be on the world's greatest network. The cars have just passed by me on this parade lap, and it's a sight that you can see a dozen times. But every year it sends chills from head to foot.
Wait a minute. Am I really supposed to be here? I'm about to be on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network and being heard by millions and millions of people around the world, and not only that, but get to witness live the greatest spectacle in racing.
His career really took off in 1983 when the long-running weekly show Speed Week first aired on ESPN.
Hi everyone, I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to our premiere Speed Week show.
He hosted Speed Week for 14 years, and they covered everything, stock cars to off-road racing.
They would send tape or that film to us. We would watch it, we would write stories, we would edit it, and we had only 4 people. So I think that says something for the people that we did hire for that show.
Along with Speed Week, Bob was also part of other dirt racing projects through the years, like the very popular show Thursday Night Thunder, which later turned into Saturday Night Thunder.
You've never seen anything like this that you're going to see tonight.
He anchored NASCAR on ESPN from 1981 to 2000. He was on hundreds of NASCAR broadcasts where he was in the booth for many iconic moments.
It's Richard Petty's final ride.
He was part of the broadcast crew for the inaugural Brickyard 400 in 1994.
Now joining us today for live coverage is the most experienced TV race caller in NASCAR, Bob Jenkins.
Hello, everyone, from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Bob left ESPN and continued to work in different roles for Versus, NBCSN, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, all covering IndyCar and the Indianapolis 500. He retired in 2012 from NBCSN and left TV after 34 years to help take care of his wife, Pam, who ultimately lost her battle with cancer later that year.
This will be my final year doing television motorsports.
Even though he retired from TV, Bob couldn't stay away from the Speedway and the Indy 500 for long.
I'll tell you something that makes me cry unashamedly are the moments just before the start with the singing of Back Home Again in Indiana, the playing of taps, and all the other things that go into those pre-race ceremonies.
Bob kept his role as part of the IMS public address team from 2013 through the 2020 season.
There's nothing like Bob Jenkins' voice to make a race fan feel like they're in the right spot in the month of May.
Over the years, Bob was able to do things at IMS that he'd only dreamed of back in 1960 when he first fell in love with the Speedway. He drove A.J. Foyt's 1961 winning Roadster around the track.
You just don't know what Indy means to me, and that was the ultimate experience for me.
He was invited to wave the green flag to start Carb Day in 2012.
I didn't wave it as vigorously as I probably could, but I was all caught up in the moment.
And he was even inducted into the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame in 2019.
The fact I have received the ring and the medallion and been named to the Hall of Fame is my Indy 500 win. Nothing else will ever come close to this honor.
When he was diagnosed with brain cancer at the end of 2020, Bob used a few short words to eloquently encompass everything he's accomplished as a race fan, a motorsports broadcaster, and one of the legendary voices of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I have only been a race fan who got lucky, and I think that's what I will have on my tombstone, because it's true.
Yeah, as you can see, Bob Jenkins was literally part of my childhood as well, not only your childhood. But what is your most fond memory of Bob Jenkins, as long as you've been a fan of the sport?
It's probably funny. I used to always get the new NASCAR games when they came out. And he was on the NASCAR 98. They did little cut scenes to him and Benny and stuff. I don't know why I got always thought that was cool. Just time that the ESPN coming on and him welcoming you to the track and all that stuff, it was always just anytime I hear like I can't really pinpoint a specific a specific situation, time that he did anything. Most old videos I watch, with him and BP and stuff like that. It just connects me back to when I first fell in love with racing.
Oh yeah, because I remember it was. Yeah, because like I had said before we went on live, it was like hearing the sound of his voice at the 2015 Indianapolis 500 and 2017 Indy 500s. Hearing and when I'll never forget it. It was the 2015 Indy 500 when Paulo Montoya was leading. All of a sudden you could hear the enthusiasm and the excitement in Bob Jenkins' face, like he went from 31st to first, and now he's gonna win the 2015 Indianapolis 500. Chills all down. Just straight chills down my back, and it was pretty cool. And then in 2017, when when I went to that 500, which is what I'm wearing right here, when Helio Castroneves was leading, I remember him saying over the PA system, "Are we going to see Helio Castroneves finally get that fourth Indianapolis 500?" Which, and then just a few minutes later, Takuma Sato took over, and this is the excitement. It was just, I thought it was great. I actually have one of his greatest Indy 500 moments. I'm gonna go ahead and play it, and I want you to tell me what you think about it after the video. Okay?
No, all right.
2 more laps to go. Will it be Al Unser Jr. or Scott Goodyear in the 500?
Al Unser Jr.'s won almost $1.5 million here, but he's never won the race, and he's got a lot of work to do already in the short shoot. That gap gets closer, Gary.
Keep those cameras ready. We can have a photo finish once again, about 3 or 4 car lengths as they work down the backstretch. Who's it going to be in turn 3, Larry?
7 Indianapolis 500 victories already in the Unser family. Al Jr. trying to add one more. It's about a 2-car length advantage on Goodyear this time through 3.
They head into turn 4. Little Al holding him off. Scott Goodyear right behind him. Just over a lap to go. They head to the main straightaway. The start-finish line. Who's going to get it? Dwayne Sweeney waves the white flag. 1 to go. A 3-car length separation between Unser and Goodyear.
And that's how they come through number 1. The gap gets closer and closer and closer in front of Gary Lee.
Indeed, about 3 or 4 car lengths as they work off the second corner for the last time. Headed down the backstretch. Headed right at you, Larry Henry. Scott Goodyear chucked right in behind Al Unser Jr. He's waiting about a car length and a half behind Al Jr. Al Jr. now lengthens it out. He's trying to hold him up. Goodyear low, Junior high. They go to 4, Bob Levy. Al Unser Jr. has the lead. One more turn to go. Here they come. Coming to the finish line. Bob Jenkins, who's going to win it? The checkered flag is out. Goodyear makes a move. Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second. Perhaps the closest finish in the history of the Indianapolis 500. Al Unser Jr. has become the first second-generation driver to win an Indianapolis 500. Al Unser Jr. has done it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I guess the first thing you think of, I mean, all of them had that excitement in their voice.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you can tell he was, it was more than a job. He was a fan of racing, a fan of the sport, and definitely a fan of that track. He loved every minute of it.
He sure did. It was, I remember it was back in, I think it was, 98, 97, or whatever, whenever it was the Earnhardt versus Terry Labonte at Bristol, which we love those moments.
Yeah.
The excitement that he had is that, and I actually have that clip.
The 95.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a Terry Labonte fan. I still remember 95 and 99.
Yep. Here's that clip. It was the one where Labonte crashed at the line.
Yeah.
Now let's see. They're down to 4 or 5 car lengths.
And a slow car right, and Earnhardt is right on his back thumb.
Let's see what strategy he pulls. Oh, Labonte is sideways but wins the race. Crashes and he wins anyway. How about that? Whoa! Labonte crossed the line sideways, took the checkered flag, hit the wall, and still comes out the winner of the Goodies 500 over Dale Earnhardt. How about that?
You could hear the excitement in his voice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was probably about the same way, though. I remember that. That one's ingrained in my mind.
I remember watching that race on ESPN Classic. That was, it still blows my mind. It's like, how do you crash at the line? Then again, you have to take it back to one hot night in 92. Kyle Petty, Davey Allison. Crashing at the line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not not unheard of, especially there. I mean, now with the track changed, where you run around the top, you're straight a little longer, but there, about the time you got straight, you were turning again. So,
oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it wouldn't take as much to run like that, especially whenever Earnhardt's on you.
That is true. That is very true.
Earnhardt knew how to move cars.
He did. He did. My goodness. What the heck? That was weird.
Do what?
But nothing. My I had popped up off my phone. I was trying to do something and my popped up. It happens though. But no, it was just great memories. So I think it was 1981 to 2000 to 2000 where we seen him on ESPN. I actually have the farewell video that he did for ESPN stating that they were a team since 81 and they were signing off for the final time.
Throughout life, we as individuals and professionals invest countless time, money, and effort in search of all the elusive elements that can bring our health and happiness to the next level. But every once in a while, magic happens. That special combination that just cannot be explained, it just happens. On a Sunday afternoon at Rockingham in 1981, the magic began. We now arrive at a moment that every member of this team had wished would never come for over a year. The time we knew that we all must go our separate ways and then hopefully, just for a while, our NASCAR Winston Cup coverage. As the senior member of the team, I've accepted the responsibility of saying farewell. And believe me, it is not easy. Benny, Ned, Jerry, John, Bill, Mike Wells, our director, and Neil Goldberg, our producer, and a lot of other behind-the-scenes people, and I, have become like family over the years. And although I and several other members of this team will continue to be seen on ESPN,
Our time together as a team is over. We thank everyone at NASCAR and the various tracks we've visited, but most importantly, we thank you, our fans, who have contributed so much to our coverage down through the years. It was for you that we've done this since 1981. Without you, there would have been no magic. And so it is to you that we dedicate these next few moments. We hope you take pride, as we will, in what we've accomplished on those more than 200 Sunday afternoons.
Yeah, so that was something else, I'd say.
Yeah, Atlanta in 2000. Yeah, I vaguely remember, not necessarily that, but knowing knowing ESPN and NASCAR was, or ESPN wasn't going to be covering NASCAR and stuff like that. And of course, 2000, I was all 12, so it didn't really, mean that much to me at the time. But as I grew older and I guess got where I can't think of the word for it, but where I would think more about my childhood and stuff. The ESPN coverage, that was a lot bigger deal than what people probably realized even at the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I remember it was because I could I became a fan in I think it was like late 96, early 97. I was about 4 or 5 years old when I became a fan of the sport. And Jeff Gordon was actually the driver that I had chose. I remember the first race that I watched, I think it was I want to say Sonoma of 97 that I watched my first race with my father. Yeah. But I know he kept telling me like, hey, and I was like, I kept hearing Bob Jenkins, I kept seeing The Voice, I would like watch these races on ESPN Classic, and I just thought, I was like, you know what, it's pretty freaking cool, to have that this guy that's really dedicated to the sport, especially like Mike Joy, for example, with Fox Sports, Larry McReynolds, like all these people that's been around for many years that's really enjoyed. And I know it was the inaugural Brickyard 400 where it was one of the first ESPN Classic races that I had actually watched. Because like I said, with me being a Gordon fan, I was searching for videos, seeing all this, and I got the last lap clip of where Bob Jenkins was talking about Jeff Gordon being the inaugural winner of the Brickyard 400.
It's an unbelievable situation in Indianapolis. Here he is in the fourth turn. This is his final trip around turn number 4. And Jeff Gordon is about to write his name in the racing history books. Years from today, when 79 stock car races have been run here, we'll remember the name. Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400.
Yep. Yeah, he was around for a lot of the big moments.
Yeah.
Like I said, a lot of the stuff I remember from my childhood. That's the voice that you connect with it.
Oh yeah, especially on the IndyCar world, like he loved IndyCar, he loved Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I have one more clip that I'm going to show.
All right.
From his early IndyCar days.
The final corner on the racetrack. He comes off the 9th corner. The car is a little slow coming off the corner. He's out of fuel. He is out of fuel, dropping to the inside. And here comes the finish line. Who's going to win it? I think it's impossible to say at this point who won the race.
It looks like Mario.
Unbelievable. Michael ran out of fuel as the car came off the 9th corner. He dropped to the inside. Mario and Little Al were coming quickly. They pulled up and they finished literally side by side at the start-finish line. It appears as if Mario might have won, but we're going to hold off any definite conclusion on that until we can study perhaps the video.
Yeah, that stuff I don't remember. That's still crazy finishes. I know I watched a whole lot of IndyCar growing up. So.
Yeah, it really wasn't as popular back then. Because back then you had Formula One back then. With guys like Arias Sierra, Michael Schumacher,
Yeah.
All the Mario Andretti. Now the big IndyCar guy that I knew growing up was AJ Foyt.
Yeah. Yeah, I always remember Dan Andretti growing up like they were a big name. You know, I mean, I know they are a big name, but like that was like the. But I think it's because you had John Andretti in NASCAR, and you know, like just recognizing a name on the you know. So I wasn't. Like I said, I didn't really watch IndyCar. Didn't follow Indy or kart back then. So I just. But yeah, that's still cool. He brought the same passion to all the series, and that was cool. To me, like I didn't know that I could take the time to sit down and learn enough about another series to talk a whole lot about it. And I enjoy all racing, but to have the dedication to learn enough to be well versed in all of it, it takes time and dedication.
It does. But so that was our first 20 minutes of a tribute to Bob Jenkins. I'll have a special farewell at the end of the show. We're going to move on to the weekend in racing. As you guys are aware, NASCAR was on a 2-week break due to the 2020 Summer Olympics. And John actually worked the ARCA Iowa race during that NASCAR break. He said he was very busy. And John was actually in Watkins Glen this weekend for both the trucks and Xfinity. We are going to start with the trucks race. We'll move on to the Xfinity and then to Sunday's Cup race, and then we'll get on to the IndyCar race after that. All right, so now the truck race, I didn't really see. I was actually busy when the truck race was on, but could you tell me what exactly went on during that race, except from what you could see from when you was there?
Well, I mean, couldn't really see a whole lot. That's the thing about road courses. You're kind of, the race, they go by and then it's quiet for a minute or two, and then they come back by. Nothing overly dramatic or spectacular happened on my end. I actually, honestly, after, because, we went to the lightning delay, and then I had to go straight, from breaking down the section pit box to setting up the pit box and getting everything ready for that. I didn't know who won the cup race. I had to ask who won the cup race. I just wasn't. I just honestly, but Watkins Glen does still have a scoreboard in pit road. So I wasn't sure. We have a TV on the pit box, but I was sitting up next to the pit wall. Like I said, there's nothing. I mean, other than just the lightning delay that was really out of the ordinary. Our driver, his air conditioning helmet went out. His Osprey Ames was driving, and he's only done a couple races this year. So, but the heat, I mean, a run course car generates a lot more. Well, I say a lot. I don't skip consider it 110 degrees and 100 feeling like, but the brakes and the transmission and everything take off more abuse. So he was getting hot without air conditioning. So we were having to give him a lot of ice bags, a lot of water stuff on pit stop. It's just back at the pit stop at Watkins Glen, so that's always an adventure. You do it all one direction. You go to 3 races. Road America, Watkins Glen, and next weekend at Indy. We're going to be back with pit stops since we're doing the road course. But yeah, that but yeah, when the lightning came, we knew the storm was approaching. There's always people keeping track of those weather in the area. We knew it was coming. We had our rain tires ready, everything like that. But they called it through the lightning. That's what they stopped the race for. It wasn't actually due to rain. It honestly, once we covered everything up, we went to the garage area over with the trailers and stuff, and the ground in the garage area, the asphalt maybe goes that way. It was a very light rain. Just they have to give 30 minutes for lightning after the first strike. You can't have one within that radius for 30 minutes, and having the Xfinity race, directly afterward, kind of tied to our hands. With not having an unlimited, without having lights and all that stuff, like they had to get it. So our schedule got flip flopped around a little bit. We were going to have about an hour or so between races. I think we wound up with maybe 30 minutes between to break everything down, move it out of the way, and then rush back to set up our other, pit boxes for the Xfinity race. And then, when we got ready for that race. So nothing overly dramatic, nothing overly exciting. From where I was sitting.
Now, when you did the ARCA race in Iowa, how was that race?
It was good. It was actually pretty nice. We flew in champion, so it's Champion Air is actually Dale Earnhardt Incorporated jets. So we just flew out of Statesville, which isn't but about 30 minutes from my house. Flew up, got there about 11 that morning. It might have been closer to 10:30 that morning. Took vans to the racetrack. Was at the track. We had to unload, and we had practice. Well, we had inspection. We had practice. Qualified. I can't remember where we qualified at for that one. But ran good all day. Had to make a couple adjustments on the car to get a little bit better drive off for him. But wound up with a top 5 finish. Which, I mean, there's not a lot of cars, but whenever you finish the race, on the same straightaway as a Bentley or a car, you're doing pretty good in ARCA cities.
Oh, I was like, do I hear a dog?
Yeah, one of my buddies left something here yesterday, and he's swinging by to pick it up, and they hear him.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, all the races I had the last, Iowa and Washington were pretty uneventful, thankfully. Washington, I actually got a holler for that. So it was a little bit longer than I was basically the date that it got home a little after midnight in Iowa. That wasn't horrible. Then I got to play catch up on housework and all that good stuff for like next week and a half. But yeah, nothing. There was nothing majorly noteworthy.
Now, I know prior to Sunday's race, Chase Elliott again had that infraction or whatever penalty. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly NASCAR is actually looking at, because I still don't understand the rules for this year. Like, do you know exactly what they were talking about was wrong with the car or anything like that?
I think they said it was the air deflector on the rear window,
Mm-hmm.
which is also known as a shark fin.
Mm-hmm.
If it's what I'm thinking, it's really the only piece on the car that you can modify. Like, well, you can't modify it. It has to meet a template, and has to meet a certain height, and has to be in a certain, you know, they check it whenever they go through the whenever you go through inspection.
Mm-hmm.
There, you know, the only other thing is open the window, you know, the rear window in. So that's what they have to be talking about. Now, what they did to it, I don't know. There's not a lot you can do to it other than that, you know, that wouldn't be, in my opinion, obvious. It's, you know, it's got to meet a certain height, be in a certain location, be a certain shape. You know what I mean? So it's literally, you know, it's literally a template that goes on, and then whenever it goes into the Hawkeye or the OSS or whatever people are calling it these days, you know, it measures its location on the car and stuff like that. But for them to just take pressure, I would say that it wasn't nothing with the way it was mounted. So it would have to have been they, and it's just really it's just a piece of, you know, the word wrestling. I mean, it was basically just like a thick piece of plastic, see-through, and all that. It just runs back glass to the car and runs across the deck lid of the trunk. And like I said, I mean, they have to fit a certain measurement, have to, you know, fit a certain, you know, and all that. And I don't know what would be gained by doing it there. As far as, so most likely, I think that they did it there because it wasn't a significant advantage one way or the other, to see if it's to use down the road of another race track, where it is more, because that does occur. People will try things at a short track that don't really benefit them at a short track, that at Speedway it will. Just to see what NASCAR does. NASCAR says, you know, NASCAR goes, well, this doesn't work, but if you did this, then this would kind of, you know, that this is illegal, but if you got a bolt fuse, that makes it legal. You know, that kind of thing. Then they use that information to go to a track where it's really going to benefit them. So that would be my guess, and whatever they did was kind of egregious, like, I mean, really bad and really obvious. So NASCAR didn't really have a choice what to say. But I mean, if you're going to do it, might as well try on a track that you're really confident in your driver.
Yeah.
Road courses be track to track with days.
And what some people have to realize, like, these guys don't have any practice or qualifying throughout the season. So how are they going to know what's working on the car and what's not working on the car if they can't go out there and practice? And they have to wait until like the day of the race to figure out, hey, this is what's wrong. This is what's not working right here. That's how I'm thinking. I mean, Hendrick Motorsports, they're no dummies, obviously, because they've won a crap ton of races this year. They had like 1, 2, 3, 4 finishes. Now next week, practice and qualifying comes back. Now, honestly, I do miss the weekly qualifying runs each week, because I feel like it gives more guys an advantage, a more fair advantage to get a pole or get a better starting spot than going by the random draw each week, where who's ever the highest up in points gets that starting spot. You know what I mean, John?
Yeah. It's actually some kind of weird algorithm now. It's like your best lap plus your finish plus your points or something. I don't know. They come up with some weird math way to do it. And whoever's the lowest number, after all that's added up, that's how they rank them. I don't know. So somebody gets paid more than me, comes up with all that every week.
And speaking of points, the 2021 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series regular season champion is John Hunter Nemechek of Kyle Busch Motorsports. And the top
don't be sorry.
The top 10 drivers have been announced for the NASCAR Truck Series playoffs that begins at they're at Indianapolis is coming up, correct?
Yes.
At Indianapolis coming up. No. Correction. They do not race again until Friday. The truck doesn't race until Gateway. Their playoffs get stuck at Gateway. The final 10 races for the NASCAR Camping Truck Series are Gateway, Darlington, Bristol. I'll be there. That'll be a great race. Las Vegas, Talladega, Martinsville, and then, of course, the Championship 4 at Phoenix Raceway. The point standings for the playoffs for the Truck Series are John Hunter Nemechek, Austin Hill, Ben Rhodes, Todd Gilliland, Sheldon Creed, Zane Smith, Matt Crafton, Carson Hochver, Chandler Smith, and Stuart Friesen. Those are a great group of guys for the playoffs for the Truck Series.
Oh yeah, should be exciting all the way down. I mean, they've been, they've you've had your surprise winners, kind of surprise winners, I guess, and then you've had your, the KBM trucks are always hard to beat.
Oh
so
yeah. And I tell you, and it's like with Austin Hill winning Knoxville, nobody expected that.
Yeah. Then he turned around and won Watkins Glen, so
yeah,
he's gonna have a good bit of momentum going into all this. So it's good. I actually was gonna say I knew that their trucks I forgot that the trucks weren't going to Indy because Josh Raoum's going to Indy with Xfinity team, but so that's one of the teams I work with a lot. But the me and Austin were discussing. We got 17 races left this season that we're pitting. I think it was it's 19 races left that we're pitting this year. Throughout here to Phoenix.
Okay.
Left. So but it's crazy that the chase season is among us, or the playoff season is upon us.
I know. Because I think, in my opinion, the final four for the truck is going to be John Hunter Nemechek, Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, and Ben Rhodes.
Yeah, probably a pretty good bunch. The Truck Series is really kind of a toss-up this year as far as, especially since they have like little gaps in their playoffs. It's not back-to-back weeks and stuff. And the teams, KBM will do the Ford truck. I'm sure it's going to be sporty, but it's shown it's beatable this year.
Oh yeah.
The Austin Hill kind of has come on strong here at the end. Zane Smith usually pretty consistent unless something happens.
Right.
It's either he's a top 5 truck or he wrecks. Seems like.
Right, and look at the defending champ running sponsorless all season and still kicking some butt.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you, when he won Darlington and that Jason Leffler throwback, it just that meant a lot to me because growing up, I was a big Jason Leffler fan, so I thought that was pretty cool to see that again. So on the Xfinity side, there's just a few races left until the playoffs start there. On the outside looking in is Riley Herbst and Brandon Brown. Michael Annett has that 12th position. He did get the medical clearance because he was able to return. And then you got the guys with the win this year, Austin Cindric, AJ Allmendinger, Justin Alligator, and Jeff Burton and Matt Snyder. So there's a pretty good group of guys that could possibly, that's on the outside looking in, that could possibly make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Harrison Burton, who's moving to the Cup next year, he's sitting in 6th in the points. Justin Haley, who's moving full-time to Cup next year, is in 7th. So with a lot of these guys going full-time to the Cup next year, it opens up, like, where will some of the Cup guys that doesn't have a ride next year, will they go back to the Xfinity Series full-time?
Yeah, I personally think, as bad as I feel bad for Benedetto, but
oh, definitely, me too.
That it would, if he does land one of those, either the Cindric's ride or gets to colleague or something like that, it would kind of let him be in equipment that has one and can win, and
right.
And I think it'd help him. I don't think he would spend a lot of time down there, but I think that it would definitely be a big help to him, because honestly, there's not a lot of open seats in competitive cars.
Because I know
proving competitive.
Right. Because we already see who's the second Trackhouse driver next year, which is Ross Chastain, which I'm happy for him. I'm completely happy for Ross Chastain.
Oh, yeah.
He deserves that spot. And then you got possibly Kurt Busch going to a second 2311 car, which I'm still waiting for the announcement of that. And then you got, of course, you got the GMS guys, which my question is, which I'm possibly thinking like maybe Sheldon Critter, Zane Smith is going to jump from the truck to full-time in the Cup in at least one of those two cars for GMS Racing. That would leave the second one open for maybe Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Newman, a couple of those few guys that you just name a few that's out there without a ride for next year.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential, for drivers to take a step down, not necessarily a step down, but to be able to kind of reinvigorate their career. I mean, Elliott Sadler did it, years ago. He was a good Cup driver. He took care of stuff, but he went, and was running for championships in the Xfinity Series.
And he came close so many times.
I know. I hated he didn't get one. I always liked.
Oh, I know. Oh, me too. Let's see. And then for the Cup Series side, on the outside looking in is Austin Dillon, Chris Buescher, and Matt DiBenedetto. Now, wouldn't it be something if Matt DiBenedetto makes the playoffs in his final year with the Wood brothers?
Yeah, I'd like to see him. I think because they've had a good restrictor plate program. I mean, he's a good restrictor plate driver, but they've had a good program. I mean, it's a Penske satellite, and Penske's always good at restrictor plates. I think Daytona would be his best bet.
Because I tell you, like that first win is coming. It's coming.
Oh,
we don't know when, but it's coming.
He'll get it. I think he'll, as long as he can keep the car clean and stay up there. I mean, eventually, probabilities and stuff work out. I mean, you stay up there long enough, you're bound to get one at some point.
Right. Like, look at Eric Almirola, for example, this year. He got that win at New Hampshire. I was about to say Homestead. William Byron won Homestead.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's I think it's going to be I think he'll give them a run for their money in Daytona this year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because not only, I mean, he'll the team will know going in that that's their absolute best bet is Daytona. Not that they're going to run bad, next weekend or at Michigan. I mean, Michigan's another good track for Penske.
Oh yeah.
But Daytona, I mean, the restrictor places where they showed their muscle at.
Lots of changes for silly season. You got Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing coming in 2022. That wasn't a surprise to me. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, it wasn't. Brad wants to be a team owner.
I mean, right. I mean, look how successful he was with Brad with BKR down on the truck side. He was very successful. Of course, the money issues came into involved. Now he could, with his Cup side and then there. So
yeah,
I'd like to see.
He's already said he would like to go back into put his new group back to the Truck Series.
Oh yeah, and I know, and I'd like to see Kevin Harvick Inc. come back at some point.
Yeah, I don't know how likely it is. 'Cause, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he got out of it because they were, they wanted to have a family and being a driver / team owner and all that stuff. I mean,
Right.
you don't get a lot of time, and he wants. I could see it potentially coming back as something for his kids, like their way in. Because they got the know-how and the means and all that stuff. So,
Mm-hmm.
so I could see it down the road, but I think it's still kind of distant for them to push for it. Plus, I think you have to see what this new car does. I mean, to and see how, because there's a lot of drivers that are, I think it's going to be changing of the guard with these new cars if they don't, if start putting more dog in tricks. I mean, race car drivers, but if they get in and they, I mean, it's like Jimmy Johnson. He still won in the last, the version of the car we have now. But once it left the COT, which was, a big downforce drag type car, big bulky car, with, they had a lot of throttle control, stuff like that to drive good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whenever they got away from that and went to this car, he didn't forget how to drive. It just the car suited his driving style as well as the previous, the whatever. I don't even know what Gen car we're on anymore. Gen 72 or something like. But like the CO2 version of the car, he money because it suited the way that you had to drive the car suited his driving style versus this car.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for the new car next year.
I think it's gonna put on good shows on road courses and maybe
definitely. Because I mean, the Trans Am series that runs before the IndyCar race, it looks similar. So, according to Bill Lester, Trans Am is the new car for next year.
Essentially, I mean, one of the there's two people that are two groups that built the car initially, and one of them was the IMSA. They were the IMSA engineers helped do a lot for building the car.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So they were.
Because they have that kind of partnership with NASCAR because obviously they use Daytona and some of the other NASCAR tracks as well that NASCAR owns.
It's actually IMSA and NASCAR are both owned by the France family, I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think now. I think IMSA's just like it's a sister company or whatever to NASCAR.
Oh yeah. Now it's on to IndyCar, Streets of Nashville. You know what? I just gotta say, the way they built that track is cool, but the way that race was, what I'm trying to figure out is this right here. Let's see. I don't know if you've seen it or not, John, but this right here.
Very short stretch, and even before they get to green, that's Marcus Ericsson going over the top of Sebastian Bourdais.
What in the world happened there?
Well, he was ready to go, and nobody was going yet, and he just drove right over to the back.
They still have the green out.
Bourdais.
I can't believe they have the green out still.
And then he turns around and wins the race.
Yeah, that was impressive to me. It's also impressive to me like they can change the nose. Like it looked like really they stuck two T handles in, popped it loose, stuck a new nose on, and tightened it back down.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
and not to lose anything. I mean, the car still drove good. The fact it went that high up in the air and didn't, and then plus dragging the wing under the tire for part of it, it didn't bend something in the suspension to make it where. Those cars are. I don't know a lot about them. I get to watch them this weekend at Indy. But for it not to have bent something or damaged something that would have made it where, you know, the car wasn't going to be competitive. You know? And that's just amazing to me. It was
But
actually
it's
really
like,
cool.
yeah. But I was like, that's pretty impressive. But I felt bad for Sebastian Bourdais. He was just trying to race for position, and he gets taken out on that fourth lap. I mean, he would have been able to continue. However, he had severe suspension damage on the front. So, and when you get suspension damage on an open wheel car, you're out of the race for the rest of the day.
Yeah, they're I'd say you know, that was probably the first IndyCar race I've watched in I don't even know how long. I think it shows the layout of the track, like NASCAR wanting to run or looking into running a street course. They're gonna have to make sure that because that the track itself was, you know, they call it a lot of cautions.
Yeah, because honestly, that track kind of reminded me of Monaco a little bit, just a little bit tougher than Monaco.
And it was like wild. Some places would be 6 lanes wide. Next turn would be a lane and a half wide.
You'll go from this to this to this, and then back to this, and it's like, who designed this track?
Yeah, and I mean,
I know they wanted to do it around the football stadium, but come on, man, how are you gonna go from 12 wide to like about this wide, then Johnson, some of the turns about this small, and you're like, okay, you're waiting for a disaster to happen.
Oh yeah, and like I think they said during the race that, you know, whenever that wreck happened, that they kept the green out because if they'd have threw the caution in such a choke point on the track that nobody, you know, somebody checked up, there was nowhere to go to get out from behind somebody.
There really wasn't, because they were so botched up.
And there was like that one where the two wound up like in the barrier, and the whole field behind them had to stop because there was nowhere to go around. And it's just that made me question if NASCAR does it. Those Indy cars handle a lot better than a NASCAR race car.
They really do. I mean, they really do, and they're also a lot smaller too.
Yeah, and lighter.
And lighter, yes, a lot lighter. It's like because I mean, this was the second Indy race I watched this year. Because the first race obviously was the 500, but you got IndyCar and NASCAR on at the same time. It's like, obviously I'm going to choose NASCAR over IndyCar because NASCAR was my first love for the past 24 years.
Yeah.
24 years. But this weekend you got IndyCar and NASCAR in the same weekend. So basically you're going to see Jimmy Johnson back at the NASCAR guys, meeting up with them and stuff. Now, speaking of Jimmy Johnson, he got disqualified on Sunday.
Yeah, for touching the car under red flag.
Yep, which he should know better. You can't do that in NASCAR. Actually, you can do it in IndyCar.
That's not
really, but then again, it really wasn't his fault. It was his crew member's fault. It was his crew. It was his team.
Right.
But other than that, I say it was a very entertaining race.
Oh yeah, definitely. I enjoyed watching it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool going over the water. Going across that bridge, which I can't imagine the you know, some bridges I don't across that one. But some bridges you go across, it's quite a hump right where the asphalt meets the concrete.
But it's like from some of the drivers' perspectives, it was from some drivers' perspectives, you had the different transitions of the track surfaces was kind of throwing a lot of the drivers off because you're going from asphalt to concrete, back and forth, and it's like, and a lot of these drivers, they're not used to stuff like that, so it kind of threw them like completely off. So now IMSA was in Road America this past weekend. I didn't get a chance to catch that because it was on around the same time as the IndyCar was on.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. I wound up doing something. It kind of reminded me of the like Memorial Day weekend, all this racing stacked on top of each other.
Right. So, yep, on the Daytona prototype side, Felipe Nassar won. That was the winner for the class, and I believe for the event as well. Hang on, let's see. Yep. So you have the full results here. So we had, Felipe Nassar and Pippo Durrani of the DPI won the overall race. They were overall. In the Le Mans 2 class, you had Ryan Dalzell, Ryan Dalzell, and Dwight Merriman for the LMP2 class. So a lot of good guys here. And of course, LMP3, these were kind of split between the LMP3 and the GTLM this weekend. So it was kind of threw me off just a little bit. But Colin Braun, I actually used to talk with that guy on Twitter before. So I'm gonna reach out to him and see if he would like to be a guest on here sometime.
That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, and Jonathan Bennett was for LMP2 for that class, and then for the GTL. Oh, they had all the classes there this weekend. Cool.
Yeah, Road America is I'm not watching the race, but yeah, it's a beautiful facility.
Oh yeah.
I actually enjoyed that place. I would have watched the race there just because I like the track.
That's a beautiful. I've raced it on Project Cars 2 or whatever. I've raced it, and it's a beautiful. It's a beautiful track. It's lovely.
Oh yeah. Inside it reminds me of a state park more than a racetrack.
It kind of reminds me of Mid Ohio a little bit. I haven't been to Mid Ohio, but I know a lot of guys who's gone there. So,
yeah.
Because that's like an hour and like 15 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
GTLM, you have Matt Campbell and Cooper McNeil, and then finally for the GTD class, you had Lawrence Van Thor and Zachary Rabicon closing that out. Now, this upcoming weekend is the Le Mans 24-hour on Saturday and Sunday. And Jordan Taylor is actually running a special Dale Earnhardt helmet that he had designed for this race upcoming week because he will be racing in number 3.
That'll be awesome.
Oh, yeah. So Jordan Taylor posted this on Facebook today. Let's see. And it looks like this.
Nice.
Oh,
That's a throwback.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's probably how Dale's helmet would look like if he'd wore a full face.
Yeah, and this part right here is what is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he said that and this was from Jordan Taylor. It's been so special to drive the number 3 Chevrolet Corvette the past few years. That number and the Chevy brand are synonymous with one man, Dale Earnhardt Sr. I wanted to make a tribute helmet to honor him at this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. 20 years ago, Dale Sr. drove the number 3 Corvette at the Rolex 24, and I'm sure it was in the plans to race at Le Mans one day as well. A big thank you to Dale Earnhardt Jr. for giving me the permission to bring back his dad's iconic helmet and blend it with mine. And an amazing job by Mike Savage of Savage Designs to get it done so well. We'll do everything we can this month to make Dale Sr. proud. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's pretty awesome how much how Dale himself transcended, all the disciplines of racing. And that it still, meant something to him, enough to him, 20 years later to want to pay a tribute, with three car in a completely different series.
Yeah. And that is probably what Dale's helmet would look like as a full face. Because, that man never wore a full face helmet.
No, he swore it bugged his vision. He couldn't keep the his peripheral vision, the helmet, the way it would close down, he would see it.
Yeah, because he has to see both sides. Yeah, he had them big old bubble goggles.
Yeah, and so he hated full face helmets.
I think a lot of guys did. I think it was after his dad. I think one of the last guys to wear the half face helmet was Jimmy Spencer. Good old Jimmy Spencer.
Yeah, Jimmy and Dale Jr. both wore them for a while. I can't remember when Jr. went to a full face.
I think it was 07. I think maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, they that was the old school. That was the old school way to do it.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, that's cool to see. Cool that they're. He's gonna pay tribute and hopefully he does good. Le Mans is a big race.
Oh yeah, I might check it out this weekend. Depending on what network. I don't know what network it's on. Probably
Yeah.
on Motor Trend Network, which it was on last year. But
Yeah.
John, this has been a hell of a show today.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It was.
Glad we can get back to it. It's been
a couple
weeks off.
Yep. Now I'm in the process of getting James Hinchcliffe on here.
Okay.
I spoke to his PR a few weeks ago, and they're going to get back to me within the next week or so about him getting on here, because he was going to come on like the week before when I had Ward Burton on. He was going to do that. He was going to be that Thursday, but his traveling plans kind of got in the way because he was also doing SRX at the same time as well.
Yeah.
But so I'm going to keep you posted on that. I also might be getting Natalie Decker on here.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, Natalie Decker. I'm going to try and get Jordan Anderson on here. I mean, it's worth a shot. I mean, it's a long shot.
Okay.
And then
Jordan's cool. I know Jordan.
Cool. Oh yeah. And there's a few other guys that I've reached out to, but I'm going to try and see who I'm going to get. But I'll keep you posted on that.
Sounds good.
So I'm going to throw up another photo, and I'm going to sign off. You can stay on the sign off so you can hear what I'm going to say with the final send off. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this whole episode was dedicated to the life and memory of the legendary NASCAR, ESPN, IndyCar, and Indianapolis Motor Speedway commentator Bob Jenkins. Before I sign off, I just want to say, always hug your loved ones, give them hugs, reach out to them, see if they're okay, because you never know when it'll be the last time you see them or ever talk to them. And in the words of the former commentator Marty Reed, many people often ask me, well, I'll always sign off until we meet again, because goodbye is always so final. Goodbye, Bob Jenkins.